Hey, it's Lo from Framed in Green, and today I'm going to be creating a wreath, but there's a little bit of a twist. Recently, I was watching the show Making It. Please don't sue me. And it motivated me to start creating again. Side note, if you don't know what Making It is, go binge watch it right now. You will thank me later. Not only did it get my creative juices flowing, but it inspired me to do a mini version of the challenges, only I want to do them in my crafting expertise.
Wreaths, home decor, repurposing, upcycling.
So this is me making it. The first challenge is a 3-dimensional food representation. That is what I'm going to be incorporating into my wreath today. You can guess what my food representation is below in the comments, but for now, let's get started.
Okay, so I'm starting with an 18-inch wood round, chalk painting that in a white color that's done by the brand Waverly, and I'm just making sure I get the sides as well as the front. And I'll let that dry. Now I'm just taking some acrylic in the colors that I've chosen to kind of go with the scheme of my wreath, and I am putting them in these plastic Christmas ornament bulbs. I have to add a little water to make the consistency a little bit more runny, just so I can spread the paint evenly throughout each of the bulbs. Happy with that. So moving on, I'm going to take some lace that I already had lying around the house, and I just cut a big circle so that I would have enough of it to cover the entirety of this bulb. And I just am pleating it down where I want the fabric to lay flat, just messing around with it until I get the look that I like. I did do most of the bulbs with the lace, but I ended up doing some in plain white felt fabric as well, just to give a little bit more variety. Now I'm just trimming the excess fabric down. And here's the finished bulbs. Okay, so for this next part, I am using this template that I hastily created, not my best work, to cut this shape out of some tan colored felt. I went with felt because it seemed like a more durable fabric to use on a wreath. Believe it or not, there is another step to this entire process. Using the felt that I just cut out in this wonky shape, I am covering these foam-shaped cones using my hot glue gun, and I know that there is excess fabric. I did that because I wanted to make sure I had enough of the felt to cover the cone, and I just trim off the excess. It might be a little wasteful, but there is nothing worse than cutting something out and realizing you do not have enough of that something. Finally, I am ready to assemble these two things together, and I'm sure you've probably guessed by now what these two somethings are going to be, but if you haven't, hurry and guess because I'm about to tell you. These are ice cream cones. I made some ice cream cones, and I'll tell you why I chose ice cream cones. I love ice cream. I have always loved ice cream, and now my whole family loves ice cream. My kids love it. We love ice cream. Okay, so now that I got that out of my system, I'm distressing the wood round. Then I'm going to take some floral foam and cut it into 3 almost identical sections. And I'm going to glue these down to what is going to be the top portion of my wreath. I'm so close to being able to assemble this. I realized that I needed to have something that I could attach the cones with, so I'm just using some floral wire real quick, shoving it into the cone foam, twisting it to make it a little bit more durable, and I will hot glue that and then shove it into the foam on the wreath form when it's dry. I finally got those ice cream cones all sorted out, so I'm moving on to my favorite part of wreath making, which is attaching the flowers, obviously. My method for this is just kind of putting them where I think they'll look good, and then if they do, I just glue those bad boys down. You can also see here, in addition to hot gluing, I do use a staple gun to attach my floral because I want this stuff to stay on this wood round. You can never have enough hot glue and you can never have enough staples, so just pile that stuff on there. I've just about got the floral looking how I want it to, so the next step for me is filling in these larger gaps with some floral moss. Ooh, see, it's looking so good. I'm almost to the finish line here. Once I have all of the moss filling in the bigger gaps, I go back in with some smaller flowers or just some loose leaves to fill in the bigger gaps. I don't want a lot of that moss showing, so I fill it in. And finally, I'm on to the last step of this wood round wreath. Using chalk first, because that's just what I had, I wrote out the words "Home Sweet Home." Then I use some watered down acrylic just to a consistency that makes it easy to pull with the brush. And I paint "Home Sweet Home" onto the wood round wreath. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. We got it. Thank you, assistant.